What is going on, guys? Another NFL season is in the books, and it's the prime opportunity for all of us to reflect on the ultimate highlight reel plays of the year. Your team may have let you down again, or maybe your team surpassed expectations once and for all. Every NFL team and fan base has a different story to tell for 2019, but they all had at least one jaw-dropping play that stood out from the rest. Here's a look at every team's best play from the 2019 regular season. Arizona Cardinals, vintage Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitz is no longer the true game-changing wideout he once was, but he still made plenty of big plays for rookie signal caller Kyler Murray. Fitzgerald isn't totally done just yet. He could still put up good numbers for a number 2 or 3 wideout. And newsflash, the guy is still a matchup nightmare. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers learned this during their Week 10 home game against Fitzgerald's Cardinals.
Kingsbury, and it is.
Add to this, but
Atlanta Falcons, Julio Jones late game heroics. The Falcons were one of the biggest disappointments of the season. Again, once they limped to a 1-4 start, the Falcons' playoff hopes were completely done for. But at least Julio Jones provided the fans with an epic moment when he made this clutch game-winning touchdown grab in Week 2 against the Philadelphia Eagles.
And they do, off they go. Catchers may get the first and a lot more. Julio Jones out in front. He's going to go all the way. Touchdown.
Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson evades the Bengals. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson had a season for the ages, leading the NFL in passing touchdowns while rushing for 1,206 yards, which is crazy. It's absolutely nuts. Jackson was the ultimate highlight reel machine in 2019. You could probably find at least 50 Lamar plays that deserves to be in this spot in our list, but ultimately we settled on this jaw-dropping 47-yard touchdown run against the Bengals. We're not worthy. We're really not.
Second down and 3. Jackson takes it himself. Look at him turn back and forth. Oh! Now he's got an entourage. And
Buffalo Bills, Micah Hyde recovers onside kick in style. The Buffalo Bills reached the postseason for the second time in 3 years. Bills Mafia was alive and well as Josh Allen and a punishing defense guided Buffalo to its first season of double-digit wins since 1999. There were plenty of magical moments in Buffalo this year, but our favorite play of the season was Hyde's onside kick return touchdown that sealed their Week 7 showdown against the Dolphins.
To try and recover it.
Sanders high up in the air, and Micah Hyde has it, and there he goes! Micah!
Carolina Panthers, Christian McCaffrey flips over for 6. The 2019 season was a letdown for the Panthers. Cam Newton barely played, and beloved head coach Ron Rivera was fired mid-season. But Christian McCaffrey gave fans something to cheer about, and something for me to cheer about because he was on my fantasy, and honestly, if you can get him first overall, take him. He became the 3rd running back to join the 1,000 club, alongside Roger Craig and Marshall Faulk. Like Lamar Jackson, McCaffrey was full of highlight reel plays during the 2019 season, but his best play of the year, well, this airborne touchdown against the Jacksonville Jaguars. That was crazy. He's literally so good. He's such a beast. Chicago Bears, Cordarrelle Patterson's 102-yard kick return touchdown. The Bears were also among the NFL's biggest disappointments in 2019, going from 12 wins and an NFC North crown to an 8-8 record and a 3rd place finish in the division. The Bears really couldn't get much going on offense during the regular season, but at least kick return specialist Cordarrelle Patterson dazzled aplenty. He takes home the Bears Play of the Year honors thanks to this 102-yard kick return touchdown against the Saints.
Cordarrelle Patterson with some running room, and look out. The big fella's across the 50, inside the 30, 10, Patterson!
Cincinnati Bengals, Andy Dalton's Hail Mary vs. Dolphins. The Bengals almost blew it. I mean, they still kind of blew it, but whatever. A Week 16 loss to the Miami Dolphins would have clinched them the #1 pick in the 2020 draft, aka Joe Burrow. Trailing by 16 points with 33 seconds left, the Bengals scored a garbage time TD and converted the 2-point conversion. The lead had been cut to 8. Then the Bengals recovered the onside kick. Then with time for just one more play, Andy Dalton put up a Hail Mary that every Bengals fan on the planet hoped would fall short. Nope. Tyler Eifert answered Dalton's prayers and caught his desperate heave. The Bengals converted on the 2-point conversion attempt to force overtime. Luckily for Cincy, they finally lost to Miami in overtime, clinching the top pick in the 2020 draft once and for all. Cleveland Browns, Odell Beckham Jr.'s one-handed catch. It's a classic for Odell, no doubt about that. Remember when the Browns were supposed to dominate in 2019? Pepperidge Farm remembers. The Browns were a complete letdown this season. There's no other way to put it, but at least Odell Beckham Jr. made a highlight reel play every now and then. His one-handed catch in Week 2 against the New York Jets was easily the Browns' top play of the 2019 season.
2nd and 12. Mayfield wants all of it. What an effort! Welcome back!
Dallas Cowboys, Michael Gallup's juggling act. The Cowboys, like the Falcons, Bears, and Browns, really failed to reach expectations in 2019. They entered the season with Super Bowl aspirations, but they pulled off the classic 8-8 season under Jason Garrett. One of the few positives was Michael Gallup's breakout season, in which he had 66 catches for 1,107 yards and 6 touchdowns. That included a field day in Week 11 against the Detroit Lions, where he recorded 9 receptions for 148 yards. His most impressive catch of the day was easily this beautiful juggling act that he somehow came down with. It was also the Cowboys' most impressive play of the season.
He's got a lot of time. He's going deep here for Michael Gallup, adjusting, and Michael Gallup comes down.
Denver Broncos, Sutton to Patrick. The Broncos took some strides in 2019 and finished with a respectable 7-9 record in a rebuilding year. Drew Lock showed some promise late in the season, while Courtland Sutton enjoyed a monster breakout year. Sutton pulled off some doozy plays during his sophomore season. But guys, his best play of the 2019 season wasn't a catch. Rather, it was a rocket of a throw to Tim Patrick on a trick play against the Vikings.
Hands off to Sutton, blocked by Fant, wants to throw downfield and caught! What a catch!
Detroit Lions, Jamal Agnew's 100-yard touchdown. Not a lot went right for the Lions, who missed the postseason for a 3rd consecutive year. Matthew Stafford's injury woes and horrendous defense led to another wasteful year for his dysfunctional organization. But at least Jamal Agnew tuned in one of the best plays in recent Lions memory, a 100-yard kick return touchdown against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Boys, the Eagles goal. Agnew was benched a week ago with the Chargers, but back in there today, a dangerous return. Take it all the way.
Green Bay Packers, Rodgers to Williams. Not only is this the best play of the Packers' 2019 campaign, but it's arguably the best play of the entire NFL regular season. Even without Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs really pushed Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in Week 8. The defense kept them in the game, but they were ultimately outdone by my knee and running back Jamal Williams, who tuned in the greatest play of his career, a one-handed doozy for 6. Can I get a my knee?
My knee.
Isn't it so nice to have the vintage Packers back? Cheesehead Nation, from a Jets fan to Cheesehead Nation, respect.
Pressure again and just has to flip it and wow.
What a game this is.
Houston Texans, DeAndre Hopkins to Deshaun Watson. The Texans hosted the New England Patriots in Week 13 of the 2019 season. Houston hadn't beaten the Pats since Week 17 of the 2009 season. It was time for Deshaun Watson and Bill O'Brien to finally overcome their demons. The Texans had a 12-point lead in the 4th quarter, facing a 1st-and-goal situation. They called for a special trick play to put the Patriots away, and it worked to perfection. Oh, and the Texans won 28-22. Finally, they beat the Pats for once.
5 runs, 3 passes. A little trickery here. Got Hopkins and more trickery to Watson. Touchdown.
Indianapolis Colts, Eric Ebron's one-handed touchdown catch. Well, the Colts just weren't able to get by in 2019 after losing Andrew Luck to retirement. Jacoby Brissett did all he could to keep the Colts in playoff contention, but the team just wasn't good enough without their Pro Bowl signal caller. Fans in Indy really got to be happy with the never say die attitude this team brought to the field. There was plenty of good in 2019, even though they missed the playoffs for the 4th time in 5 years. And hey, let's not forget Brissett's touchdown pass here to tight end Eric Ebron, who hauled in a beauty of a one-hander against the Texans.
To the end zone, back to the end zone, and out of bounds.
Let's take a look at where he came down.
Jacksonville Jaguars, Gardner Minshew's Houdini act. The Jaguars' rookie signal caller Gardner Minshew was one of the bigger feel-good stories of 2019. The 6th-round pick filled in nicely for an injured Nick Foles, tossing 21 touchdowns against 6 interceptions while recording a 6-6 record as a starter. Minshew mania was something else in 2019, and the Broncos learned this when he evaded just about every one of their pass rushers before finding Raquel Armstead for a touchdown.
Minshew hanging in there. Stays on his feet again, dancing around, dodging tacklers, now throws end zone, caught, touchdown!
Minshew mania, baby. Don't forget to tell your friends. Kansas City Chiefs, Tyreek Hill's catch in double coverage. Shocking news, Patrick Mahomes was ridiculous again in 2019, and Tyreek Hill, aka the Cheetah, was a big part of Mahomes' highlight reel special in 2019. So many great plays by the 2018 MVP, but which one was his very best? Ah, that's easy. How about this bomb to Hill, who somehow beat double coverage before fighting his way into the end zone?
Mahomes with a flag down. He'll take the deep shot. It is caught! Tyreek!
Chiefs are pretty good, not gonna lie. Just a little bit, nothing crazy. Los Angeles Chargers, Mike Williams diving catch. Well, here's another one of those preseason Super Bowl contenders that just disappointed big time in 2019. But this is the Chargers we're talking about, so we're not really surprised at all. That said, third-year wideout Mike Williams provided plenty of optimism for the future. He hauled in 49 receptions for 1,001 yards and 2 touchdowns. Williams and Keenan Allen should dominate for many years to come. Williams takes home the honors for the top Chargers play of 2019 with this superb diving catch against the Detroit Lions in Week 2.
Good time. Going deep. He's got him. Williams with a great catch.
Jeez, that is just ridiculous. Los Angeles Rams, triple reverse supreme. The Rams offense was nowhere close to its dominant 2018 form. Jared Goff and Todd Gurley regressed. The offensive line was atrocious. It all added up to a mere 9-7 record and a non-playoff appearance for the first time in the Sean McVay era. But the Rams offensive unit still had some nice moments. None better than this triple reverse trickery that resulted in a touchdown against the Bengals.
35-yard line. Double reverse. Goff throws, and it's Cooper Kupp. The 10, the 5.
Miami Dolphins. Trick play spectacular versus Eagles. The Miami Dolphins succeeded in tanking during their first half of the season. Then Ryan Fitzpatrick got hot. The defense stepped up, and the Dolphins finished with a 5-11 record, placing them 28th in the league. But give the team credit for having some fun under rookie head coach Brian Flores. They played with pride, even after the front office traded away just about every stud player remaining on the roster. So what was Miami's best play from a 2019 campaign that didn't turn out to be the massive tank job everyone expected? This was an easy choice. So easy. So give it a watch.
Hawk. The punter takes the snap. And then the toss. To the end zone for the touchdown.
Minnesota Vikings, Kyle Rudolph's one-handed touchdown. Now, those are the Minnesota Vikings that the fans of the Gopher State expected to see. The Vikings missed the playoffs in 2018, 1 year after reaching the NFC Championship game with journeyman Case Keenum. But Kirk Cousins elevated his play in year 2 as a Viking, guiding the club to its second playoff appearance in 3 years. We all know about Cousins' ugly record against winning teams and in primetime games, but he silenced the doubters with a great outing against the Cowboys in Week 10. His best throw of the night was a touchdown strike to Kyle Rudolph, who hauled in this beauty with one hand. Rudolph came to play there, baby. My God. Well done. Well done. New England Patriots, Stephon Gilmore's diving interception. Stephon Gilmore once again cemented himself as the top cornerback in the NFL during the 2019 season. He held his ground against the likes of Odell Beckham Jr., DeAndre Hopkins, Juju Smith-Schuster, and A.J. Brown. But Gilmore's signature performance of the year took place in Week 12 against the Cowboys. Gilmore went up against Amari Cooper, holding the latter to 0 catches. 0. It's Amari Cooper we're talking about. 0 catches. When Dak Prescott threw in Gilmore's direction, he paid the price, as you can see here in the Patriots' top play of 2019.
Prescott caught it, passes and coverage. These are hard things to cover for him.
New Orleans Saints. Drew Brees tossed number 540. Drew Brees surpassed Peyton Manning as the all-time passing yards leader in 2018. Entering the 2019 campaign, Brees had one more major record to catch, the all-time leader in passing touchdowns. Manning retired with 539 for his career, but in Week 15, Brees finally became the touchdown king. Fittingly, it took place against Manning's former team, the Colts. Another absolutely beautiful and iconic moment for number 9 and the franchise.
Mighty Mark. Will he get it here? Yes!
New York Giants, Evan Engram one-hand catch. Well, the Giants were quite the train wreck in 2019. Farewell to Eli Manning and Pat Shurmur. It's time for Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley to find a way to fix this plummeting franchise. But even the worst teams have their fair share of big-time plays. That brings us to tight end Evan Engram with this snag against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
On him in coverage, but there is absolutely nothing.
New York Jets, Robbie Anderson's 92-yard touchdown. The Jets offense didn't exactly take flight under head coach Adam Gase in 2019. Le'Veon Bell was merely average, but again, he was holding that team up. So, Sam Darnold didn't take the next snap. The Jets only salvaged a 7-9 record thanks to a cakewalk of a second-half schedule. But despite the fairly disappointing year, the Jets had a nice home win against a Dallas Cowboys team that had Super Bowl aspirations. The play of the game and the Jets season took place late in the second quarter. Now, if the Jets can get more of that from Darnold in 2020.
To Belt, go deep. Anderson's out there. This is going to go the distance. 92 yards.
Oakland Raiders, flea flicker beauty. The Raiders didn't accomplish a whole lot in their final season in Oakland. They weren't as bad as the previous season, but it wasn't the best way for a franchise to go out ahead of their big move to Vegas. That said, Derek Carr rebounded nicely for the most part in his second season under John Gruden. Among all the Raiders plays in 2019, this flea flicker touchdown pass to J.J. Nelson stands out as the team's top highlight of 2019.
And the flea flicker. Carr has an open receiver, and it's J.J. Nelson. And
Philadelphia Eagles. Nigel Bradham steals it at Lambeau Field. Despite a ton of injuries to key players, the Eagles did just enough to salvage a 9-win season, which was good enough to win the pathetic NFC East division. Philly's season ultimately ended with a wild-card loss in the playoffs, but making the postseason for a third year in a row is nothing to complain about. Doesn't pull off the rare feat of picking off Aaron Rodgers with the game on the line. Bradham made the big play during Philly's Week 4 thriller against the Packers.
On second down, in the air and picked off by Bradham. First down, they might come back with it. They're on second.
If Bradham doesn't make that play, maybe Green Bay wins, which means the Cowboys would have probably won the division instead, which means that Jason Garrett probably keeps his job, which probably means that Mike McCarthy doesn't get hired by the Cowboys. Nigel Bradham for you, changing the NFL forever. Pittsburgh Steelers, Juju Smith-Schuster's magic. The Steelers just barely missed out on the postseason despite losing Ben Roethlisberger for a year in Week 2. The team grinded out some tough wins under head coach Mike Tomlin, but they ultimately fell short in reaching the playoffs. There's no shame in that. There are plenty of young stars on this team, and it won't be long until the Steelers could contend again. With Big Ben back in 2020, that means more darts to Juju Smith-Schuster. Speaking of Smith-Schuster, how about this beautiful TD snag against the Dolphins?
Rudolph inside the 10.
But watch Smith-Schuster go up and take it away. Having the strong hands.
San Francisco 49ers. George Kittle's heroics versus Saints. The 49ers met the Saints in Week 14, with the winner essentially clinching a first-round bye and likely the first seed in the NFC. There was a lot on the line in this one. The Saints were one stop away from defeating the 49ers, which would have likely given the Saints the top seed in the NFC, as well as home field advantage and a first-round bye. Instead, George Kittle happened.
Fires, it is caught, still on his feet is Kittle with a big play and the stiff arm. George Kittle, flags flying, he's down to the...
That set up Robbie Gould's game-winning field goal, and the 49ers went on to earn the top seed in the NFC. Seattle Seahawks. Tyler Lockett's toe-drag touchdown. He may not be the best quarterback in the NFL, but nobody extends plays and makes something out of nothing like Russell Wilson. The Seahawks signal caller is truly in a class of his own when it comes to making the impossible possible. When it looked like Wilson would have to throw the ball away against the LA Rams, he threw a perfect pass to Tyler Lockett, who made a phenomenal catch in the back of the end zone for 6.
Surveys, nowhere to go, and back in the end zone, touchdown!
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, stopping Christian McCaffrey. It was hard for the casual fan to get hyped for the Week 2 Thursday nighter between the Bucs and Panthers, two extremely mediocre and mistake-filled teams. But it actually turned out to be one of the better games of the season. It all came down to a 4th and 1 situation for Carolina near the goal line. They put the game in Christian McCaffrey's hands, but the Bucs defense made a big-time stand to win the game.
Direct snap. They fake the toss. McCaffrey. Depends where they put it.
Tennessee Titans. Derrick Henry clinches the rushing title. Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb were neck and neck for the rushing title in Week 17. The Browns' star finished with 1,494 yards for the season. Henry, of course, had more than the rushing title on his mind. He and the Titans needed a win against Houston in Week 17 to log down the final wildcard spot in the AFC. While Henry got the best of both worlds, the Titans soundly defeated the Texans to earn a playoff spot, and Henry clinched the rushing title in grand style with his long run.
Something to the culture of your team.
8 for the title, and he's going to break it on a big one. He's going to get the title by a mile. As
Henry finished with 1,540 for the year, comfortably ahead of Chubb. Washington Redskins. Vernon Davis hurdle and score. 2019 was unsurprisingly another disastrous year for the Washington football team, but brighter days are ahead. Dan Snyder finally moved on from Jay Gruden and Bruce Allen. Ron Rivera and Dwayne Haskins give this team plenty of hope for the future. Redskins fans, keep those heads up. There really weren't many positives for the Redskins in 2019, but Vernon Davis' beast mode touchdown against the Eagles was something else.
Vernon Davis
Davis over the top of the defender, and oh, where is the tackling? We have already seen bad.
Which do you think was the best play of the 2019 NFL season? Join me in the comment section below. Make sure to follow myself and TPS on social media. We post great content all the time. TikTok, baby. TikTok, I make TikToks all the time. Go follow me. And also YouTube, Instagram, Twitter for TPS. We're everywhere. Go find us. Make sure to like this video. It takes one click right down below. Make sure to subscribe as well because we post videos every day, and why would you not want that? Of course, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jason Biondo. I'll see you next time.
My knee.